Hey, Arielle, how are you?
Hi, Cynthia. I am doing great.
It's great to be here with you today. And I've been wanting to have this conversation with you for a while because you and Mama Soul have been just such a important client for us. And well, at least I guess I can't speak for the whole team, but I do feel like I've just become in love with your brand. Like I love the mission. I love everything you're doing, and you bring so much passion and, on all and everything we do, I can see how much you're committed to your business. So with that being said, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Mama Soul?
Well, thank you so much for saying all those warm and kind-hearted things. Um, and I agree. My passion is really through the roof these days. So when I was 5 months pregnant with my first son, I started researching ingredients to avoid when you're pregnant or nursing. And the list was so long, and I couldn't find one that I loved, that was safe, that didn't smell like coconuts, that didn't feel greasy, that didn't leave a white cast. And
Right.
being that I have over 15 years of beauty industry experience, I decided to hire a chemist and create it on my own.
Yes. If it's not out there, just go and create it, right? Like that's
Exactly.
I love that. So yeah, so tell me, I guess so I want to share a little bit about how we've been working with you and get into some like numbers and things, but I'd love to hear kind of the journey that it's been like even from the conception of I mean, obviously you had this need, right? But how did you go from hiring the chemist to being like, okay, I need to create this for other moms and this needs to be a thing?
Yeah. When I was researching for clean, effective sunscreens and I was pregnant or nursing, I was like, why isn't there a place that I can go to and just know that they've vetted it for me? They've done the
Right.
work and somewhere that I could trust. And so I wanted to be that for other women. I wanted to be a safe space where other women can feel like they don't have to do one more thing in their day and they can just go to this space and know that it is safe and effective for them.
Yeah. Especially pregnant or nursing moms or just all moms. Like we have so much.
Any woman, honestly, that wants safe and
Yeah.
effective sunscreen. This, it came out of the love of being a mom and being pregnant or nursing. But the line is really for anybody who cares
Right.
about what they're putting on their skin.
Yeah. Yeah. I always feel like there's so much going on in my head every day. And so if it's like one less thing I need to worry about or think about, it makes such a big difference. Right. And it is really just like a lifesaver from that point of view. So yeah, so we've been working with Mama Soul for over 3 years. I
Oh my
want to
God,
say.
is that right?
I want to look at.
I
I
feel
should
like
have
it's
brought up
been.
the.
I feel like it's been two.
Okay, later I should have done a little more homework, but no, at least 2 years,
Yes.
um, and we've gone from doing primarily uh, SEO optimization, and then now we're doing PPC. And we've also incorporated part of the SEO retainer, a kind of mini PR component, which helps with the authority building of SEO. So I wanted to give everybody that context. And I was looking at your numbers today. I was like pulling up all the numbers, and it's just incredible to see the growth. So this is just SEO traffic that I'm really focusing on. So, in terms of the last 12 months and comparing it to the previous 12 months, the traffic from SEO grew 70%, and the revenue specifically from SEO grew 42%. And it is the highest revenue driver at this point to the website and for the brand. Again, I'm excluding wholesale because I know that was a discussion recently, but I like yeah, no wholesale in all that reporting so that we can really see that. And then even looking at your total sales in the last 12 months, that has also just grown a lot. So sales from SEO traffic increased by 130%, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Um, if we look specifically at the SEO metrics, comparing to last year, the last 3 months, so 2025 to versus 2024, our clicks grew by 86% and our impressions grew by 418%, which is amazing.
Damn.
And then on a little shorter time span, but not too short. I mean, 6 months, the last 6 months from the previous 6 months, our clicks grew 98% and our impressions grew 248%. And yes, like this is very much tied to the work we've been doing, obviously. But I need to say to everyone that Arielle is so committed to the work. And this is why we're so successful with our SEO results, is because she's like getting on these podcasts. She's saying yes to everything we throw at her, right?
I say yes to literally every single podcast, and honestly, some I don't know that I should say yes to, but I really, it's such good practice. No matter if it's a positive,
Absolutely.
no matter if the interviewer kind of sucks, like, which some do. I take every single one like, okay, that was good practice for me, because
Totally.
my goal is to soon be on QVC, right, or something like that.
Yes.
It's allowing me
Oprah. I want to see you on Oprah.
it's allowing me to practice my pitch and feel really confident in how I speak, and allowing me to be way more well spoken. So not only is what you're doing helping our SEO, it's helping me in my just overall confidence, really.
Yeah. I just need to caveat that because I feel like the sense with SEO is like you kind of lean back, and yes, there's a lot we do that the Mama Soul team doesn't know, doesn't like, we show them things, but where there's like a lot in the back end, I guess, that can feel that's going on. But it helps when the client is really committed to doing their side, especially with the authority building piece, right? So the more you get mentioned by other brands and, just get yourself out there, the better it works. With it's part of SEO, and there's a lot of discussions between SEOs around that, but to me it's like it has to be there, because we could create the best content and put it out there, but if no one's mentioning you and you're not really being featured anywhere, you're going to reach a plateau eventually. So that's been amazing, and I've seen that growth in you. Personally, I've seen how far you've come in, you know, showing yourself as the front woman to the brand and getting out to these trade shows as well, and like in-person stuff. It makes a big difference for sure.
Manifestation only works if there's action behind it. So
Right. All right. So now I want to switch gears a little bit, and I'm going to kind of like pass the baton to you, Arielle, because I want to hear, if you remember, before working together, because I feel like we've been working together for a very long time. So I can't even remember what it was like before working with Mama Soul. But before working together, do you remember kind of the situation, any challenges, what was going on with you, in your head of like, we need to get to this point and we're not there yet?
Well, before working with DBIQ, we had a really strong word of mouth and partnerships, but our digital visibility just wasn't where it needed to be. And so, we were growing in spas and resorts, but we weren't showing up online in the way that I know that we could. And so
Yeah.
I felt like if we were doing all the right things, but we weren't being discovered by the, wider audience, then that was searching for clean, natural solutions. So,
Mhm.
before we started working with you, we weren't doing SEO. We hired you right when we launched, essentially. I had interviewed several agencies, but I really just appreciated your personalized approach. You are our longest standing member of our team. I'm really loyal when we hire somebody, but you have stood the test of time. We've had zero concerns. We've had never once talked about should we go with another agency. We've done that with every single department except yours, and that's the truth.
Wow. Crazy. That's crazy. That's amazing. Yeah. So it sounds like you guys were And I'm trying to even reflect like, yeah, we were growing, you guys were like in the cusp of kind of a scaling phase, and you have grown so much, right? As we know. What, I mean, you just kind of said it, but it sounds like what was a deciding factor in working with us was maybe a personalized approach, just maybe a
Yeah.
human conversation.
I think it was that you weren't really trying to fit us into this cookie cutter marketing plan. Like you took the time to understand our niche. You know, we're clean beauty, we're all about wellness and moms and conscious consumers. And, you know, you
Yeah.
helped create strategies that were tailored for that. And that gave me a lot of confidence that, you know, you got us and you got the brand and you got our audience.
Yes. And that's something we continue to do, right? Because sometimes we're in these calls and you are throwing you're like a machine, the idea machine, right? You've got tons of ideas and I love it. Like again, that's a very, it's such a pleasure to work with a client like that because they're enthusiastic and they want to, you know, move forward. But a lot of the times we're always asking, you know, is this going to get you to that next stage? Like, is this the priority right now? And, you know, even something like PPC, which we've integrated recently and we're getting results with, it's been a very slow process of seeing,
Yeah.
okay, is this working? Okay. And then, you know, when you're ready to invest more, or there's like a decision making process around where we're investing next, it's very, very intentional. And so we do that with all our clients. We're not just like throw more money at this. Like we're really looking at, okay, where are you getting your results from? And of course, there's experimentation and everything, but we look at the numbers, we have a conversation.
I will
Yeah,
attest to that because Cinthia, we could have thrown a lot more money into it, and you were like, "Let's hold off. Let's see where we end up." And it really does feel like you have our best interest at heart. I think that's a
yeah,
big reason why, you know, Talia and I, my co-founder, really love working with you because we feel like you have a lot of integrity and you
yeah,
really want us to grow. Like you can feel that.
yes. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we really do. And sometimes more money isn't necessarily what's needed. Sometimes it's maybe just a more focused service on one area, and of where we're again where we're seeing the tipping point, right, and where
Yeah,
we're
and I
seeing
also
what's
think it's
going to happen
important
next.
for your listeners to know like we started with a really small budget with you. We did not have a huge budget for SEO, and then once we started seeing results, we were like, all right, it's worth it. Let's
Yeah,
throw more money into it. And we started taking money away from other areas of our business and putting it more into SEO. And I think, you know, when people start investing in SEO, they'll realize that that really is like the game changing ingredient to D2C success.
yes, 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 yes. So, again, you've kind of been answering this along the way, but how do you feel it's been like? What has been the feeling of working with us? That process, like when we get on these calls, was there anything that just like jumps out of you
Yeah,
overall?
I think it's been really collaborative. I feel like it's been very transparent. You know, I've worked with agencies before where you hand things off and you just kind of hope for the best. But with you, I felt like more it was more involved and more supportive. And so I think what surprised me the most was how quickly we started to see traction. You know, SEO can feel like this super long game, but we
Yeah,
saw results much sooner than we expected.
yeah, I love that. Makes a lot of sense. And we try to be really flexible with our clients. Like, obviously, there's a contract and we deliver on that. But one thing I think we've really done well with you is that, again, we like look at what's working and then we pivot within the same budget to different things based on where we think there are going to be better results. And, you know, even adding on PPC, obviously that was like a whole other strategy, but it was very consciously and cautiously integrated with the SEO and with the website development stuff we've done. So we like to give our clients flexibility without losing that like North Star vision, because otherwise it could feel like you're just running around in circles. So it's that balance, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you feel has been like the most valuable part of the like collaborating together so far?
I just think like probably the clarity, you know, instead of guessing what's working and you know, we now have a strategy and real data showing us where to focus. You know, that's been huge for me as a founder because it frees me up to focus on building and you know, on the business instead of constantly second guessing marketing decisions.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And what do you feel is like one thing that now is possible for you that before felt impossible?
I think reaching new customers organically, before I felt like unless someone physically encountered us in a spa or was hustling on social media, they wouldn't find us. But
Right.
now people are discovering Mama Soul through search, which I think just opens up a whole new level of growth that feels or felt like out of reach before.
Right. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Absolutely. Yeah. And just being able to focus on the business building, just everything else you're doing. You're busy. You've got a lot going on. And maybe also, hopefully, not working in certain things and just being able to live your life. And, I always, my hope is that clients can just be offline more, right? Because they can just enjoy what's going
Yeah.
on. If they want to work on the business, that's great. But it's important to take breaks and to not burn out and to be with your family or the people, you like
Yeah,
to
I will
spend
say
time
you're
with.
definitely allowing me more time to focus on building my business. And
Yeah.
that's what's really important because SEO is a foreign language for me. And so,
Yeah.
you really have been the expert and I've really leaned on you and we really trust you. I mean, we really do. You've thought of kind of everything on the back end. So I can focus on the front end.
Yeah. That's the goal. That's the goal. And like I was saying before, we're really a data, like we focus on the human side. Obviously, the conversations we're having with our clients, like the ideas that come out of our calls are always great, but we're also very data focused. So we come to the table looking at what's working, and the numbers don't lie. And that's beautiful, right? And it can sometimes be hard as well, but it's just helpful to look at it from that perspective because you can really make much clearer decisions. And I think for a lot, it sounds like for you too, like just pulling those numbers and looking at those numbers, spending some time marinating in the numbers can
Yeah,
also be very valuable because it's not something you would maybe look at too much.
definitely. Definitely wouldn't.
Yeah.
Not my people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I love looking at the numbers. I don't know. I enjoy it. But I know that I think for a lot of business owners, Google Analytics just feels like too much. It's like,
Yeah.
it's too much. I can't handle it. Don't make me look at it
We make
unless.
it really digestible in our weekly or our biweekly meetings where
Yeah.
you break it down and explain, where the growth is and which ones are more important than others and,
Yeah.
what's the goal and where are we at in comparison to that goal.
Yeah. 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 Our calls are one of my favorite calls because I feel like we get so much done
Yeah.
and we're just so active. Like everybody is like everyone's actively working on what do we need to do next. And it's not like, necessarily we're presenting to you and you're just kind of like listening to someone drone on, right? About it's very like we're just all brainstorming and looking at what's working, what's not working. And again, that makes our work much easier from a,
Yeah,
you know yeah.
I agree.
Awesome. So I'd love for you to share a little bit, if someone obviously they can search Mama Soul and they can find it, but if there's any other links or anything else you want to share with my audience so that they can get to know the brand, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, if you're listening and you care about clean beauty and sun protection and you feel good about it, I'd love for you to try Mama Soul. You can visit us at shopmamasoul.com or you can follow us on Instagram at shopmamasoul, where you can find us at luxury spas. We're in over 65 luxury spas and resorts around the country and on Grove Collaborative. So if you're a mom, especially, we created the brand with you in mind.
Yes, it's amazing, 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 amazing. Thank you so much, Arielle.
Thank you.
Bye.